Good afternoon. It's Tom Padula from TomPadulaTV on YouTube and Insegna Booksellers. And today I've come back to La Divina Commedia, book 3 of of Dante's work, and it's the turn of Paradiso. And the last time that I came on, it was the 16th of July. So now I feel a little bit guilty because I used to do this every single week, but now I said that I would, I would be more flexible with this, and this is what happens. It sort of gets in the back burner unless you take it on and make a big effort each week to do it. But it's not always possible, and so I'll do what I can. And I was intending to do 2 of them today, but I'm not sure. I probably will do one. It'll be Canto 3, and it's program 81. And it's, as I said, Sunday, the 6th of August, 2023. And it was starting at 2:45, so we should finish about 3:50, thereabouts. So today is an interesting one. Canto 3 follows from Canto 1 and 2, and we are in the part of the moon there where we are meeting characters from the actual canto. One of them is Picarda, and the other one is una contessa. It's let me see, let me check it out. The other one is Costanza d'Altavilla. Of course, Dante, the Paradiso is in a way, in the same way as the Inferno, because even there, the blessedness, the state of blessedness changes according to whether a person has been in God's grace at a particular level. So in other words, as the people at the bottom of paradise are just as happy. So what I will do, I will begin very soon with the analysis. Give you a bit of a background there, and then we'll take it on. Harry Varela, welcome. You can see this. I'm in Paradiso. I'm in paradise. That's why the crown. Okay. Ciao, Harry. Okay, let's go on. So this is the analysis of Canto 3 of La Divina Commedia. So let's go and do it. Before Dante can reply to Beatrice's scientific explanation, a sight distracts him. He sees indistinct reflections of faces and turns around, thinking people must be standing behind him. Beatrice teases him, calling him a baby in his pursuit of truth. She explains that the beings he sees are real souls, not reflections. The reason that they are in this sphere and why they appear so cloudy is because of their inconsistency during life. Beatrice encourages Dante to speak to them. So the inconsistency, we have to understand that, as we live, we don't always stay and do what we want to do in the name of God. So it's some people are better at doing it than others, and therefore they will be judged accordingly. So that's how it is. So just as there are different levels in the heavenly spheres, so there is a hierarchy of blessedness in heaven. An inverted version of this appears in Dante's Inferno. As Dante travels deeper and deeper into the layers of hell, the souls he meets are increasingly sinful, and we saw that. The last one was in the bosom of the devil. and then before Virgilio and Dante arrived at the beginning of Purgatorio. Here, the souls in this heavenly sphere reflect their cloudy, variable environment because they behaved inconstantly in life. Their wills changing like the changeable moon. You know, the idea that we're not always constant in what we do. Now, Dante asks the nearest spirit to reveal her name and destiny. So that's where we were. And now we actually go into the canto and see what Dante is doing. Don't forget, Beatrice is there as well. Smiling, she identifies herself as Picarda, so a former nun who'd been pulled from the cloister and made to marry. She explains that she and her fellow souls are assigned to this slower moving sphere of heaven because they neglected their vows in life. It wasn't her fault, but she did neglect it. Noticing how happy she appears, Dante wonders if she'd prefer to be in a higher sphere. You know, she's so happy. Are you going to be ambitious and go further up? Well, to be closer to God, where she'd be closer to God. Still radiant, Picarda replies that God's love causes her to want nothing other than what she has been given. Isn't that what we do when we follow the laws strictly? We're happy doing it. We don't have a mind of our own. We just follow what needs to be done. So, noticing how happy she appears, Dante wonders if she'd prefer to be in a higher sphere, where she'd be closer to God. Still radiant, Picarda replies that God's love causes her to want nothing other than what she has been given. If she wished to be placed higher, then her will would be out of tune with God's. But in heaven, that simply cannot be. In God's will, in other words, she finds her peace. It's a good concept to understand. Picarda dei Donati was a woman whom Dante knew in real life. As she alludes to here, she was persuaded to leave a Florentine convent in order to marry for her brother's political advantage. That's what they used to do. They used to use the women in order to avoid wars, in order to get advantages. Women were second-class citizens at the time. That doesn't mean they were always maltreated. They were treated well as well, but that's how it is. So Picarda's story is an example of God's providence, meaning how God's grace is distributed in various ways. Every soul's destiny is a gift of God's grace, but grace is not granted in the same way or to the same degree everywhere. So there are layers of it. Yet souls do not suffer any sense of deficiency or injustice of this. They accept their state. And so they should. That's where they've been placed. So God's justice says, well, that's what you've done. You come into my world, but my world has got layers of blessedness. That's because in heaven their wills are completely aligned with God's will and find their peace and happiness only there. Now, this is another point here. Picarda points out the soul of another former nun, Empress Constance. Constance was also pulled from the cloister, but she never let the veil fall from her heart. She always felt that she was a nun, even though she had to abide by her marital duties. Picarda then fades from Dante's side, singing Ave Maria. Dante turns to look at Beatrice again, and his eyes are overwhelmed by her radiant light. Lovely. Thank you very much for Carmela Marguccio to come on. Okay, now we're going to start with Canto 3. Okay, Canto 3, I'm going to read it in Italian. It's pretty hard because as Dante says, look, I'm talking about the things not of this world. So This is more about theology, about our understanding of religious duties. If whether you believe or not, it doesn't matter. It's if you don't believe, it's still a sort of a religious duty in that you get punished accordingly. So that's how it is. Count to three. The best idea with Dante would be to purchase one of the set and read it. And I recommend it for the people in the third age because there's a lot of wisdom in here, and it has to be checked up with our life, the way we live our life now. As, this was written 800 years ago, 700, whatever. Okay, so here we go. Canto 3. Quel sol che pria d'amor mi scaldò il petto, di bella verità m'avea scoverto, provando e riprovando il dolce aspetto. E io per confessar corretto e certo me stesso, tanto quanto si convenne levà il capo a proferer più erto. This we're talking about his relationship with Beatrice and the fact that when he was young, and he mentions this in La Vita Nuova, La Vita Nuova of Dante, one of his other books, that he met Beatrice when he was 9 years old, and she was about 10, or in verse, whatever, but they're very young. And so up until her death, it was as if the love that she had for him, and she looked after him in a way, spiritually speaking. So now in Paradiso, she's his guide. She still loves him, but she has a higher duty. Okay, so ma visione apparve che ritenne, so I'll read it again, quel sol che pria d'amor mi scaldò il petto, il sole, di bella verità m'avea scoperto. Beatrice like the sun, same sort of metaphor. E io per confessar corretto e certo me stesso, tanto quanto convenne, levai il capo a proferire più erto. Welcome to Angela Email as well. Ma visione apparve che ritenne a sé, ma tanto stretto, per vedersi che di mia confessione non mi sovvenne. So la visione, these are the souls that look like they are behind a mirror, or like in a mirror. Quali per vetri trasparenti e tesi, that's e tersi. So they are real souls, but they look as if they're behind a glass, a see-through glass. Quali per vetri trasparenti e tersi, over per acque nitide e tranquille, non si profonde che i fondi siano persi? Tornano di nostri visi le postille debili, sì, che per la in bianca fronte non vien men forte alle nostre pupille. Now again, here, during the Middle Ages, women used to wear something, una perla, a pearl. And so the metaphor here is that these souls are as if they are in a limpid water that you can see through, and with the whiteness of the pearl, whatever. So tal vidio, più facce a parlar pronte. They were ready to talk to me, this facce. Perché io dentro all'error contrario corsi a quel che accese amor tra l'uomo e il fonte. So in other words, we're on the moon, and Beatrice has tried to explain to Dante that the shadows on the moon had something to do with the blessed state of souls. So, and in discaisia, let's see what happens. Subito si chimiò di loro percorsi quelle stimando specchiati sembianti per vederli cui fossero gli occhi torsi. So as soon as I realized that they were there, they were ready to speak to me. E nulla vidi e ritorsili avanti, dritti nel lume della dolce guida, che sorridendo ardea negli occhi santi. So Beatrice says, she realizes that he wants to talk to them and vice versa. And so she says, Dante, come on, you should understand that you are in paradise now. Look, non ti meravigliare perché io sorrido. I can understand the questions you're going to ask. Don't worry, you're going to get your answers. Mi disse, appresso il tuo pueril coto, you're like a little baby looking for truth. You're going to get it anyway, so what are you worried about? Poi sopra il vero ancora lo non fida, ma te rivolve come suola o a vuoto. Vere sostanze sono ciò che tu vedi, qui rilegate per manco di voto. So she says, these souls are vere sostanze, they are the real souls. Don't think that they are, just because they are in a particular way, they shine in a particular way here, that they are not real. They are real. It's just that they weren't constant in life, sort of. Però parla, so he says, come on, Dante, open up to them. Però parla con esse, odi e credi, and listen and believe what they say. Che la verace luce che le appaga da sé non lascia lor torcere i piedi. So la verace luce is that the justice, God's justice, the light, God's light. That light doesn't allow their feet to move from where they are. Che non lascia lor torcere i piedi. That's the way I see it. E io all'ombra che pareva più vaga di ragionar, drizzammi e cominciai. So I understood, and I sort of said to her, quasi come uomo cui troppa voglia smaga. So he wanted to actually get into the conversation with these souls. Ho ben creato spirito, che a rai di vita eterna la dolcezza senti, che non gustata non si intende mai, grazioso mi fia se mi contenti del nome tuo e della vostra sorte. That's beautiful, lovely expressed. Ho ben creato spirito. Why ben creato spirito? Because that spirit there is in paradise. Che a rai di vita eterna la dolcezza senti, that you felt the fight for God, that thing. Che non gustata non si intende mai. Said that if you haven't tasted it, you'll never understand it. So you are fortunate souls here. Ondella, that's her, pronta e con occhi ridenti. She was smiling, the soul, and she says, she answers him, la nostra carità non serra porte e ha giusta voglia, se non come quella che vuol simile a sé tutta la sua corte. I fui nel mondo vergine sorella, e se la mente tua ben si riguarda, non mi ti celerà l'essere più bella, ma riconoscerai chi son picarda, che posta qui con questi altri beati, beata sono in la spera più tarda. In la spera più tarda. So she says, la nostra carità non serra porta a giusta voglia. So we are here and happy to be here because we consider ourselves very fortunate to have been given such judgment by God. We accept it. So she says, we don't want to go to the other spheres. Don't forget that heaven has got I think 8, 9 spheres, and then there's the one right at the top, the Imperial. We'll get to that as well. And then once we've finished with Paradiso, I'll be able to get back and talk about the whole works in a better light. Because, as I said, I haven't really studied this before. But now I'm sort of preparing a bit more, because it is quite hard to understand the theological implications of what Dante is trying to say. But then it becomes all clear. Ok, so i nostri affetti, si says, che solo infiammati sono nel piacere dello Spirito Santo. I nostri affetti, we accept il piacere, whatever the Holy Spirit decides, letizian del suo ordine formati. We are happy, letiziare, sort of the order that was created in paradise. So they're quite happy to stay down the bottom. And we, if we don't belong to a part of the government, we're just ordinary people trying to follow the laws as they are, and some people do a good job of it, some people do not such a good job, so it's the same sort of thing, really. Let's not forget Dante is in the Middle Ages, and this is a time when the Earth was the center of the universe, and it was a flat planet. So people dropped off at the edges. And then very soon, 100 years later, or 150 years later, 170, yes, something like that, Christopher Columbus arrives, and people realize that the Earth is round. Ok, e questa sorte che par ciuco tanto, però n'è data perché fuor negletti i nostri voti e voti in alcun canto. So he said we were not consistent with what we had to do for God's sake. We were told to go and marry somebody when our vows were not to do that. On Dio a lei, so Dante now talks to the soul. Ne mirabili aspetti vostri risplende, non so che divino che vi trasmuta da primi concetti. So again, beautiful, he said, mirabili aspetti, beautiful aspect, your beautiful soul emanates, radiates light. Però non fui a rimembrar festino. Don't forget, you could, maybe go up. Ma or m'aiuta ciò che tu mi dici, sicché raffigurarmi è più latino. So let me understand exactly what this is about. Ma dimmi, voi chi siete qui felici? But tell me, you are here. Voi che siete qui, the ones who are here in this circle, desiderate voi più alto loco per più vedere, per più farvi amici. Don't you? That's a natural thing to be ambitious, to be accepted into a higher sphere. Con quelle oltrombe pria sorrise un poco, so she Donati there. What's her name? Of course, Piccarda Donati, says con quelle altre ombre, together with the other souls, pria sorrise un poco, she smiled, da indi mi rispose tanto lieta, car del parea d'amor nel primo fuoco. So she answered me in such a happy way. She could have, it's like ardere di amore al primo fuoco. The way he expressed himself, just amazing. Frate, la nostra volontà quieta virtù di carità, che fa volerne sol qual c'avemo ed altro non ci asseta. So we are a gift. We've received a gift of charity from God, the higher being. So we don't have any thirst for anything else. We are in tune with Him. Se desiassimo essere più superni, that's a subjunctive there, se desiassimo, essere più superni, if we wanted to be higher up, foran discordi i nostri desiri dal voler di colui che qui ne cerne. So the desire of the Lord would be outside of it, and that wouldn't be too good, would it? Che vedrai non capere in questi giri s'essere in carità e qui necesse e se la sua natura ben rimiri. So now we are approaching an understanding of God's justice, because He says you're going to find out. This is here. He mentions here the giri, the circles of paradise. As they move forward, as you move along, you'll find this, that people will be. So it starts with, how can God, have these circles? It's His house. But, remember the feudal lord, and remember that he had a very big castle, especially in Dante's time, and it was very structured. He had particular quarters for him, then the ones who helped him, better quarters, then the ones that served the castle down. They were sort of part of the Lord, even though they were protected. And then there were the villagers outside that paid the taxes, etc., and they were only given help when there was an attack on them. So they were sort of left to their own devices, but they had to obey the Lord, the Lord of the manor. Ok? Che vedrai non capire in questi giri se essere in carità e qui necesse se la sua natura ben rimiri. Anzi è formale adesso, beate esse, tenersi dentro alla divina voglia, per cui farsi nostre voglie stesse, sicché, come noi sem di soglia in soglia per questo regno, a tutto il regno piace come lo re che in suo voler ne è in voglia. So God is the one who's determined all this, and we want to be part of it. E nella sua volontà è nostra pace, and it is in His will è our peace. Egli qual mare o qual tutto si muove, ciò che la cria o che natura face. E la sua volontà è nostra pace. So we want to be in peace with ourselves. His will has to be our will. Whatever He wants, we do. Or she. Nobody said that God has to be male. There's something came up here. Stars enabled, 0 stars received. Who's going to give me a first star? Maybe from the Paradiso, but never mind. Chiaro mi fu, allor come ogni dove in cielo e paradiso, essi la grazia del sommo ben d'un modo non vi piove. So he says, chiaro mi fu allor. So he understood there that that in cielo, wherever you go in the Lord's kingdom, you're still in cielo. Del sommo ben d'un modo, so in other words, it doesn't. Heaven has got different parts as well. That's good. Ma siccome egli avviene su un cibo sazia ed un altro rimane ancora la gola, what's going on? La gola, che quel si chiede e di quel si ringrazia, così feci io con atto e con parola, per apprendere da lei qual fu la tela onde non trassi infino a cola spuola. Ma I'll read it again because I got distracted. Ma siccome egli avviene su un cibo sazia ed un altro rimane ancora la gola. So you are satiated with the God's food, you know, this decision to give you. But, you know, don't you feel that you want more of it? So gola, saziare, you know, it's wanting, having and then wanting more. Così feci io con atto e con parola, and that's what I did. I wanted to understand why these souls here were accepting God's justice, and she made me understand. That's what he says, because don't forget, Dante doesn't remain in Paradiso. He travels through it, so he wants to understand as well. Perfetta vita e alto merito in cielo, donna più su. Perfetta vita, mi disse, alla cui norma nel vostro mondo più si veste e vela, perché fino al morir si vegli e dorma con quello sposo che ogni voto accetta, che caritate a suo piacer conforma. So in other words, life, perfetta vita e alto merito in cielo, e l'alto merito in cielo, donna più su. Beatrice, we're going to enlighten you a lot more about this. Con quello sposo che ogni voto accetta, che caritata a suo piacere conforma. Well, lo sposo in questo, this is reference to Jesus Christ. That's why I understand it. I could be wrong, but again, you know, Dante's work requires a lot of reflection over a long period of time. Dal mondo per seguire la giovinetta fuggii e nel suo abito mi chiusi e promisi la vita della sua setta. So she was in the convent and she was asked to leave that. Uomini poi a mal più che bene usi, fuor mi rapiron della dolce chiostra. So she wasn't very happy to be rapirono, ripe, to be had by the men that she was assigned to. So il dolce chiostro is the convent, because there you're in the state of purity. She was taken out of there, given to the other one, and then God says, in His justice is all right. I understand it wasn't your fault, so I'm going to give you, you know, I'm going to accept you in paradise, and etc. E Dio si sa qual poi mia vita fusi. God knew exactly. E quest'altro splendor che ti si mostra della mia destra parte, and then she refers to the other lady, Costanza. Quest'altro splendore, because they're light, they're souls with light, che ti si mostra dalla mia destra parte e che si accende di tutto il lume della spera nostra, ciò che io dico di me, di sé intende. Exactly what I told you happened to her, Costanza d'Altavilla. Sorella fu, she was also a sister, e così le fu tolta di capo l'ombra delle sacre bende. And so she was required to marry someone because her brother wanted to. Again, this reference to the history of Florence. Ma poi che pur al mondo fu rivolta contro suo grado e contro buona usanza, non fu dal vel del cor già mai disciolta. But she, Costanza d'Altavilla, she never let her desire to be in the convent leave her. So she was, quite a good soul, really. Questa è la luce della gran Costanza, the great Constance, che del secondo vento di Soave generò il terzo e l'ultima possanza. So, Costanza d'Altavilla, nata nel 1154 da Ruggero II, fu l'ultimo erede del regno normanno. Nel 1185 sposò Enrico di Svevia, figlio di Federico Barbarossa. Da questo matrimonio nel 1194 nacque Federico II. Costanza, rimasta vedova nel 1997, resse le sorti del regno con capacità e saggezza fino alla morte avvenuta l'anno seguente, etc., etc. There's a big line here about Costanza, but let's go to it's 3:22, so I have to finish. When do I finish? At 2:50. So I've got to do my other work here. Ok, così parlommo e poi cominciò Ave Maria. So they spoke. Vicardo spoke with Dante. Costanza didn't speak, but he was able to gather her what happened to her. So he was enlightened about these two souls and the others in the same place, which is il ciclo, il giro della Luna. The planets were used as the means by which those circles of paradise slowly but surely move towards the top. Okay, I think Jupiter's the last one. So, and after that, there's the Empyrea, there's the whole. It's very interesting. So she left with the other souls, cantando Ave Maria. Ave Maria, etc. Cantando e cantando vanio come per acqua cupa cosa grave. E cantando vanio come vanno, come per acqua cupa così grave. 123, so you can look it up, it says, e così mi parlò e poi cominciò a cantare l'Ave Maria e cantando come una cosa pesante nell'acqua profonda. She sang. Why would she? Si nota la coerenza, eccetera, eccetera. Suggerire una continuità tra la conclusione delle giornate terrene nel corso delle Clarisse e l'attuale esperienza di beatitudine ad ulteriore riprova della again, bit hard to actually, these metaphors, some of them are easily understood, others a bit more difficult. La vista mia che tanto lei seguiò, quanto possibile fu, poi che la perse, volsesi al segno di maggior disio. So once Picarda and Costanza went away, then he turned towards who else? Al segno di maggior disio. Who else? A Beatrice. E a Beatrice tutta si converse. So it turned up, because she keeps on going up. Ma quella folgorò nel mio sguardo, sicché da prima il viso non so. Well, he had been looking at he said, he had said that he was in acqua cupa, darkness. So it turns with Beatrice, and she's all light, and he's like blinded by her light. That's it. Nel mio sguardo, sì che da prima il viso non sofferse. At first I couldn't see her. E ciò mi fece addimandare più tardi. And this allowed me, told me to have to wait to ask her the question for whatever happens afterwards. E ciò mi fece addimandare più tardi. So, l'immagine conclusiva dello splendore di Beatrice si ricollega con simmetrica coerenza a quella con cui si era aperto il canto. Prima si era messo in rilievo il calore del suo amore che aveva scaldato il cuore del poeta, ora si evidenzia la sua capacità di illuminare, di porsi come guida verso la conoscenza della verità. So Dante will have the truth after he finishes his journey. And we are the recipient of his truth, because he says, without me explaining all this to you, you wouldn't know what to do. So that's Canto 3. Hasn't been too bad. It could have been worse. But, you know, the best thing to do is for you to actually get Dante's Paradiso. We go from one paradise to another. This is my world, my poetry. I love it. You know, now after many years of writing, some of it is in book form, which is good. There's so much more that has been. It's not published. What can I do? What can I do? Now, this today, I'm continuing from poetry, my friend, Amica Poesia number 2. And I'm reading Il Ciclo. Ok, Il Ciclo. Solitaria strada sotto un cielo scuro, guardi le ombre di una notte d'autunno. Cadono le foglie ben presto, irti rami si distendono nell'eternità. Solo una foglia continua a dimenarsi, ma dopo un po' anch'essa cade. Un raggio di sole passante accarezza le foglie ingiallite sul marciapiede bagnato, mentre il vento le accoglie in un cestino e le deposita sotto il cipresso accanto ad altre foglie d'altre estati. Freddo è il cuore della pianta che piange, ha perso le sue foglie, ha perso la sua famiglia. L'albero mesto ricorda la primavera e solo piange la sua sorte e l'estate svanita. Poi nell'inverno freddo dorme d'un sonno pesante con sogni di felicità perduta. Nel grigio cielo spento appare una colomba, dopo una rondinella, infine la primavera. Gioia. Now I'll read you that in English. Okay? This one here, it's called The Cycle. Solitary road under a dark sky, you look at the shadows of an autumn night. The leaves fall quickly, rigidly the branches extend into eternity. Only a leaf continues to flutter, but after a while it too, or she too, falls. A passing ray of sunshine caresses the yellow leaves on the damp footpath, whilst the wind gathers them in a basket and deposits them under a cypress, near the leaves of other summers. Cold is the heart of the crying tree. It has lost its leaves, it has lost its family. The said tree remembers spring, and alone weeps for its fate and vanished summer. Then in the cold winter it sleeps in a deep sleep, with dreams of lost happiness. In the grey misty sky, a dove, then a swallow, finally spring, joy. So this is, you know, the cycle of the year. And we are in that cycle now. Giuseppe Gibilisco, welcome. Giuseppe, dall'Italia, che bello, eh? Allora, siamo arrivati, ho appena finito il canto 3 del Paradiso di Dante Alighieri. Ho letto una mia poesia da Amica Poesia, numero 2, eccola qua, in inglese e in italiano. E adesso andiamo alle canzoni che faccio, che chiamo coro all'improvviso. Coro all'improvviso è un progetto per spiegare, per imparare le parole delle canzoni. E noi l'Italia ha prodotto una grande cultura di canzoni e di musica, specialmente dalla fine degli anni dopo la seconda guerra mondiale, e quindi i primi 50 anni, proprio le liriche, le parole di quelle canzoni, ma anche quelle di prima, quelle quelle del primo Novecento in poi, le napoletane, quelle dell'emigrazione. C'è tanto in Italia che va apprezzato. Qui a Melbourne, devo confessarvi che si pensa più al materiale, mangiare, bere, ballare, eccetera, eccetera. Poi lingua e cultura, molti ragazzi non parlano l'italiano, quelli più adulti ancora non hanno imparato l'inglese per bene, e quindi è un problema sociale ed anche culturale, e quindi stiamo cercando di rimediare su queste cose. Ci sono alcune persone che lo fanno, speriamo che ci riusciamo. E il fatto che c'è l'internet adesso diventa mondiale, la diaspora italiana nel mondo ha più persone che la popolazione dell'Italia. Ci sono 100 milioni di gente di origine italiana in giro al mondo. Non è poco. È una grande sorgente di turismo per l'Italia, per le esportazioni, tutto valido, però poi c'è la necessità di avere qualcosa in ritorno. This is the way it is. Ho parlato un po' in italiano perché ho visto a Giuseppe Gibilisco che è venuto, quindi ciao Giuseppe, saluti a tutti. Ok, e adesso avevo cominciato, devo aprire il computer, mi scusate per un momento. Ecco, ecco qua, ci siamo, ecco qua, sono arrivato e speriamo adesso che tutto va bene con quello che, dove siamo? Qua, 29, ecco, siamo qui. Ok, adesso vi faccio vedere un po' di musica. Ciao Paradiso, siamo ancora in Paradiso. Ok, qua. Comincio con... Opla. Quindi, vedi, quello che faccio? Metto qua e poi lo uso, vedi? E queste qua sono le canzoni che noi facciamo. Quindi cominciamo con questo. E ci sono anche le introduzioni mie, quindi abbiamo un bel po' di tempo per farlo. We got a bit of time to do all this, so here we go. Qua, Dora e Rino Marchese, che Dora viene da Viggiano e Rino è nato qui a Melbourne. Ecco qua. Today is Thursday, the 29th of June, which in the Christian tradition is the day in which they celebrate St. Peter and St. Paul.
That's right. Yes.
And as a result of that, I decided to start reading La Divina Commedia, Paradiso. On today, I thought I'll start on St. Peter's Day. Oh, unbelievable. And Paul too, but St. Peter's got the keys. But the Paradiso, you know, it's going to be very interesting. Now today is another afternoon. We're going to do 6 songs, and this time we're going to celebrate, you know, the Italian songs, but also Dean Martin. I've chosen Dean Martin, yeah, because we had Frank Sinatra and now Dean Martin for this is choral improviso number 12.
12.
Yes,
Yeah,
and we're going to do 6 songs this week and 6 songs next time. Okay, so let's go and yeah, let's have a job. We'll do whatever we can. But this is to encourage people to sing.
And to be active too. With the
Mistakes and all, just enjoy it.
Just enjoy whatever comes our way. Yeah, yeah.
The song today we start with Luna Mezzo Mare, it's in Sicilian dialect. Here we go. C'è la luna mezzo mare, mamma mia, mare d'Italia. Figlia mia, tu che dai, mamma mia, che dai tu. Oh mamma, pesce fredda, baccalà. Oh mamma. va bene, il dove, una normalità. Se ci pica la fantasia, mi andava su la figlia mia. Uè mamma, pesce freddo e baccalà. Oh mamma, pesce freddo e baccalà. Se ci donne fa le diane, il dove, un cannuccio maniche. Se ci pica la fantasia, mi cannuccio lì alla figlia mia. Oh mamma, pesce freddo e baccalà. Oh mamma, pesce freddo e baccalà. Se ci dovevano scappare, il dove lo mette domani te. Se ci piglia la fantasia, non è magia, la figlia mia. Oh mamma, pesce freddo e baccalà. Oh mamma, pesce freddo e baccalà. Se ci devono sotterrare, il dove, il Giappone mani se ci piglia la fantasia, non è la figlia mia. Oh mamma, pesce freddo e baccalà. Oh mamma, pesce freddo e baccalà. Se ci vogliono una cellaia, il dove, la sua pizza mani se ci picca la fantasia, mi sa che sia la figlia mia. Oh mamma, pesce freddo e baccalà. Oh mamma, pesce freddo e baccalà. Se ci vogliono pisciolone, il dove, e un pesce mare. Se ci picca la fantasia, mi pesce la figlia mia. Oh mamma, pesce freddo e baccalà. Oh mamma, pesce fritto e baccalà. Oh mamma, pesce fritto e baccalà. Ok, that's what. Next one. Ecco qua, fa freddo qua a Melbourne, quindi facciamo vedere un po' il fuoco che ci riscalda. E qua. The second song of choral improvisation number 12 is Criminal Tango. Dora said, oh, I know it, but
I know, but
I've
I'm
done
not
it
sure.
before.
I know from long time.
And we haven't done it before either, so we're going to try it now. And yes, we're going to go straight into Criminal Tango. Noi qui non conosciamo queste canzoni, le facciamo per la prima volta, quindi perdonateci. Welcome to Laura Cassano, ecco qua. Criminal Tango. Vieni piccola che ti distruggo. Allacciamoci nel tango, bella pupa sorge il fango. Questo tango vale 8, alla voce legherà un boccale di tequila a bruciare la mia gola, ma le labbra tue procaci fanno bruciare un po' di più. Criminal tango peccaminoso, brivido arcano che mi incatena, stretta ti tengo e cerco ansioso in un tuo bacio la volontà. Allacciamoci nel tango, nella tua sorge il fango, tu mi chiami io brucio. Vale la pena di morire con la bocca sulla bocca, mentre suonano i violini, mi distruggi gli assassini e mi porti via con te. Criminal tango, peccaminoso, brivido arcano che mi catena, stretta ti tengo e cerco ansioso in un tuo bacio la volontà. criminal tango, pecaminoso, brillo el piano, criminal tango. Well, we did our best there. It's another bit of Dora's. Here we are, the next one. This next song, which is the third one of Choral Improviso, number 12, is one of my favorites because whenever I go dancing, I want them to play Buonasera Signorina, Buonasera at the end of the night. It's a wonderful way of finishing off, but some people like to do other
Arrangements.
other arrangements for them. But sometimes they do play Buonasera Signorina dancing. And we're going to do it this afternoon in Italiano first, okay? So here we go. Buonasera signorina, buonasera, ok. Buonasera signorina, buonasera. Come bello stare nato e sognare, mentre il cielo sempre dire buonasera, la vecchia luna che sul Mediterraneo fa. Ogni giorno ci incontriamo camminando, dove pare che la montagna scenda al mare. Quante cose abbiamo detto sospirando, in quell'angolo più bello del mondo. Quante volte ho sussurrato a Monetano, buonasera signorina, ti sicurdai. Buonasera signorina, ti sicurdai. Buonasera signorina, buonasera. Com'è bello stare a Napoli a sognare, mentre il cielo sempre dire buonasera, la vecchia luna che sul Mediterraneo fa. Ogni giorno ci incontriamo camminando, come canta la montagna scende in mare. Quante cose abbiamo detto sospirando, in quell'angolo più bello del mondo. Quante volte ho sussurrato a Bollettano, buonasera signorina, ti sicurdai. Come on, come on. Buonasera signorina, ti sicurdai. Ma quante cose abbiamo detto sospirando, in quell'angolo più bello del mondo. Quante volte ho sussurrato a Monetano, buonasera signorina, chi si tornai. Buonasera signorina, chi si tornai. Buonasera signorina, chi si tornai. Well, that was that's the three songs. Now I still got another 5 minutes, but I did the interview. I interviewed Dora, and I don't know whether to go to the interview or to play another song as well. Okay, so maybe where are we now? I lost it now. Tom Padula, what are you doing? Yeah, I'll try this one here. I'll try the last three. Yes, okay, here we go. Hopla. Here we go. Let's go with Swine. This is lovely to finish off. Dance with me, make me sway, like a lazy ocean hugs the shore. Hold me close, sway me more, like a flower bending in the breeze. Bend with me, sway with ease. When we dance, you have a way with me. Stay with me, sway with me. Other dancers may be on the floor. Give my eyes to see only you. Only you have the
it begins. Make me feel as only you know how. Sway me through, sway me now. You know how to raise on the floor. Give me love, give me love. And you have the magic way me. Sway me, sway, make me sway. And the dancers may be on the floor, but my eyes are still on you. Only you have the magic technique. When we sway, I go away. I can hear the sound of violins long before it begins. Make me feel as only you know how. Sway me through, sway me now. You know how the sky can do. Sway me through, sway me now.
Wow. Now, well, I think this one here is the interview. Dora and Rena, today we've done the Dean Martin songs, and it's taught us a lesson, hasn't
We've
it?
done it, yes.
Because even though you've heard the songs so many times,
We've done it.
if you never sing them,
You forget them.
apart from you forget, you just don't catch the beauty of the song. And yeah, well, I want to thank you for this afternoon. It's been
Oh, no, thank you, Tom, for coming. It's a pleasure, yeah.
And as you know, these songs now are going on Facebook, and they also go on YouTube and my other programs. In other words, it's a wonderful way of creating memories for the future. And we do it only for the love of it, of course. And
not to hurt anybody at the same time, yeah.
Well, of course, we try to say to people, sing. It's very good for mental issues. You know, when you have problems, if you sing, canta che ti passa. That's the
proverb,
Come beautiful.
That's it. And that's what Dora has learned.
Beautiful, Tom. You've done the interview.
Thank you very much. Okay.
No worries. All the best for you.
Thank you.
And wishing
Until
you
next time.
all the best, you and your family and everybody.
Yeah, I enjoy interviewing Rena and Dora at the end of the sessions now. It's a good idea because, you know, you play music, you sing, and you make mistakes, you reflect on it. It's all good. It's all good. It's wonderful. And this hour of canto dedicated to Dante Alighieri, to Canto 3 of Paradiso, is about to finish because, you know, that's it. The hour is gone, and it's a 5 minutes introduction as well. I just want to say that there is a lot happening right now in Melbourne. My work seems to be, you know, going okay because I'm teaching at the University of the Third Age, teaching French, Italian, and world history. That's world history is part of the, you know, the enlarged vision of the world, because the nations in general are interdependent now, and we don't want wars. We want the old wars about territories. I know when people are in government, it shouldn't be like that. It takes so long to get, you know, to make progress. We need more cooperation, really. Singing does it. Singing does it. Getting involved in clubs and associations does it as well. And, you know, we're all here for a short period of time in comparison to eternity. So that's it. Now, last week I also had problems with my, I'm going to finish now, and let's see whether Facebook has actually fixed up the problem. We'll see what happens. Anyway, regardless, it should go on to my Facebook page once I finish, and I'll bid you farewell. Ciao a tutti. Speriamo che venite anche la prossima volta. Non posso dirvi quando vengo, perché faccio tantissime cose adesso e vorrei che anche in Italia magari qualcuno dice qualcosa, ma non ci sono commenti. Qua dice stars received. Niente, le stelle verranno dopo. Ok. Ciao da Tom Padula from TomPadulaTV on YouTube and Insegna Booksellers for all your language needs. Here we go.